Hi everyone, it's Stu here once again from 3B, and it's a continuation of our review of the Optoma GT1080Darbee HD projector, short throw projector from Optoma. And here it is. In this one we're going to look at how to connect it up, how simple it is and how quick it is. And one of the key things really to take away from this is really how portable this is. I know it kind of looks a bit big, but it's actually pretty light. And given the size and the quality of the projection, which you'll see in a short while, and how quick and easy it is to set up, you will see that it's actually a very portable system. So let's just sort of briefly have a look at the back there. So we do have, these are the connectors. So we have a USB socket for if you've got something like a dongle from Amazon or Google or anything like that. Any of those plug-in sort of internet TV, Amazon Prime, Netflix and so on, sort of Roku sticks. We also have an audio out jack and two HDMIs and a mini USB as well. So we have two HDMI inputs. It's a full 3D capable projector, like a lot of their projectors actually, even the modern ones, even the one I've got that they've got in for repair right now, it's just the UHD 40 rather, is actually at 4K, is 3D capable. So really all you really need for a sort of a projector of this sort, where it's pretty mobile, is simple and easy and quick to set up. So that's what we'll look at next. So those are the connectors. We have adjustable feet, of course, because you know we can ceiling mount this upside down like that, but I would imagine the majority of people would want to get this out and sort of create a non-permanent sort of place for the projector to go. So we'll look at that next. So there we go. So here we are once again. You can see my hands, and what I'm going to do, I've got a table here, I've got my projector screen behind, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to set it up on some books. So we're going to connect it up, set it up on some books, and then I'll show you the screen once I've set it up. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to use some magazines. It allows us to adjust things gradually. So we'll put those magazines there, so maybe that'll be high enough. And then what we're going to do is we've got the projector here, we've got those connectors right there. So it's pretty straightforward. I'm probably going to have to adjust the feet, there's no doubting about that, I'm sure. And probably magazines are not the best option. So it's really simple to connect up. Make sure it's the right way round, does help. So I've got it connected up to my AV amp, and what I'm going to do, I've actually got one of these creative Logitech remote controls, so we'll set it up for Xbox projector. So it turns my lights down and what have you, turns on the everything there. So let's turn on the projector, see how loud it is. We have a nice little remote control. So it's powering up. Okay, so what I've got running here right now is I've got it set up about just over a meter away from the screen, so the projector is literally here. And as you can see, I've got a large projection screen. It's a well lit room, and the quality of what we're getting back, this is going through an Xbox One X, through my Denon AVR 4400 amp. And the quality, this is on the YouTube app on the Xbox One X. I've turned the sound down. That symbol on the right, or on my left rather, is the mute signal from the mute symbol from the Denon, not from the Optoma. And you may see a little bit of banding. I'm noticing that's coming through the Samsung camera. That's not actually happening on the projection. But what I wanted to do is just to show you sort of how big that we can get this. So if I actually move this table back, not very far in fact, just a few inches, maybe a little bit more, we can get that pretty big. In fact, I have had it as big as the actual projection screen, and this is a 1080p DLP projector from Samsung. It's from Samsung, they're gonna love me saying that, from Optoma. It's the GT1080Darbee, and it's got lots of cool features. The Darbee mode pretty much is the key thing in all this. This is the shining gem in this projector's arsenal. So what we'll do is we will select an image, a still image that's sort of well lit, it's not sort of dark like this, and we will show you what it looks like without the Darbee, how a normal DLP 1080p projector would probably project, and then we'll see what the GT1080Darbee actually does, what this processing does, and how it improves the image. So we will pause on something suitable. Okay, so I've put on the Darbee mode demo, and what we have is we have a vertical line moving across, and the processing is on the left hand side and the standard processing is on the right. And one of the things I hope that this is picking up is that there's a sort of a bit of a punch in clarity. Some of the edges seem a bit more clear, a bit sharper, rather than on the standard non-Darbee mode. It tends to be a little bit smudgy and the colors tend to be a little bit muted. And one of the things I will do in the video after this one is show you the settings that I'm using for the GT1080Darbee, so you can get a similar sort of image quality on your own use of your 1080 projector from Optoma. So as we can see, there is a difference between the muted. The colors seem a bit muted, and the clarity of the definition of the images seem a bit fuzzy in the non-processed image, but in the Darbee processed image there's a lot of clarity there. It's a little bit clearer, the colors are a bit more punchier, but not sort of overly in your face. So actually I pretty much like the Darbee mode. So we have it set at high def. The quality of the image is really good, and I'm in a well-lit room. I've not got the blinds down, I've not even got the curtains closed, and it's doing really well. So in a dark room at night when you're watching a movie, you're bringing it round to your friend's house, it's a really bright projector. It's 3000 lumens, which is pretty good, very good in fact. And in fact it's doing, I would actually think it was more than 3000 given on what I'm seeing here. The UHD 40 that I have can't do this brightness in this room with it without the blinds being down during the day. So that sort of gives you a good idea as to how well this is dealing with a brightly lit room. I think a lot of it also helps the fact that it's a short throw projector and it's actually very close to the screen, so it enables it's not getting washed out by the light between the distance of the projector screen and the projector itself. So overall, I'm really impressed. It's easy to use, it's easy to connect. There's a few options there. It's got a built-in speaker. If you don't have an AVR amp, you can connect it direct to, say, an Xbox One X and then just have the sound coming through the projector itself. So yeah, it's pretty decent indeed. The sound on the internal speakers aren't great, but you know, when push comes to shove, you know, it suffices. But I would imagine most people that would want a projector like this would have some kind of sort of, at least a very sort of a low-end AVR amp anyway. But you can, of course, have the sound coming through your TV. It doesn't necessarily have to come through the projector itself, but there is that option there. The remote is pretty small. Unfortunately, it doesn't light up, or at least I couldn't get it to light up. I'm not seeing it light up. As an example, this is the one I have on the UHD 40. And as you can see, it lights up, so that's really handy. But unfortunately for the GT1080Darbee, it doesn't actually light up. But that's not a huge problem, but it does help, and you kind of don't use that too much once you've got it set up. Other things to note really is the simplicity of setting it up. I've literally got it resting on a bunch of books. Admittedly, the projection screen I've got is, you know, a good projection screen that I've had, that I installed properly. But this could project just onto a wall and it would be fine. So there's plenty of options there, and the fact that you've got a lot of filters, if you want to project onto a wall and the wall isn't sort of white or anything like that and has different colors, it allows you to use a filter so the color of the wall isn't affecting the quality of the screen or the color of the images that you're watching on your projector. So that's how it looks, that's how it operates. It's really very good. I'm pretty impressed at how quick and easy it was to set up. There's plenty of options which I'll show you in the next video of the settings that I've used, and then I'll give you my final thoughts as to what I think of the Optoma GT1080Darbee.